Hey y'all, welcome to Growing Rich. If you're new to the channel, I'm inviting you to join us as we transform our yard into a space that will feed us for many years to come. I'll show you what works and what fails, and in the process, hopefully, we'll grow together. Today, I'm going to give you my 3 quick and easy steps to help get your garden growing. Here we go. Tip number 1, learn what grows in your area. Here in Northeast Florida, we have a subtle uh, change in seasons. We're in a really a subtropical climate. I'm in zone 9A, which means basically temperatures can get anywhere in the winter from the mid to low 20s. So we can grow certain varieties of fruit here and veggies. So the summers are pretty brutal. So it's been a lot of experimenting in the yard and trying to figure out what does well in certain areas. Um, but for fruit, the avocado fantastic, the sundollar nectarines, the Florida Pence or Prince peach, Dorset golden apples, Baldwin pear, and Methley plums are the varieties that I have growing in my yard. Just because of the research we've done and what we've learned, those varieties grow well, and that's what we're going to try and grow here. Um, So mulberries are another excellent fruit tree for this area. They thrive in very infertile, sandy, loamy soils. They just, they need to be well draining. They're also drought tolerant. We go through periods here without a lot of rain. Blueberries are also a great addition. In Northeast Florida specifically, we got the rabbit eye and the high bush are the varieties that thrive here. They require really acidic soil, which is what we have, but they also need to be well draining. As you can see here, I've got ours planted in pine bark mulch and native soil, and this area here seems to drain really well. So there's many other fruits and veggies that thrive in this area, like the Seminole pumpkin. Um, it's also very reliable pumpkin that can tolerate heat in the summer. I learned about this pumpkin only last year from just again doing my research and trying to learn about this stuff. My sister-in-law actually cooked a delicious pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, and it was great. Everybody loved it. It's a treat if you can get it in the ground. I would highly recommend it. So do your homework, uh, do your research. Just know your area and start planning. Um, Knowing you know what works well or what will do well in your climate, that's going to give you a really good start and the best chance at success. Quick tip number 2, experiment and learn your yard. So once you figured out what grows well in your area, work on growing them in different conditions. Uh, you know, See what works best. Certain plants perform good, in microclimates created by other trees and like structures on your property. Um, when I come out here, I look at my yard like a laboratory. I plant trees in buckets. Um, this helps me move them when they're either getting too much sun or if I know a frost is coming through. I also try planting the same fruit or vegetable in a raised bed to see what results I get there. Mulch beds are the other ones I try planting stuff in. I did some potatoes this year. They didn't really do well in the mulch beds, but they did great in our sandy soil. So, um, I just observe how they perform, see which one works best, and then I know how to plant them and what method to use the next growing season. I also have some Seminole pumpkins growing in direct sunlight, and I have another mound growing at, in the part of the yard that really doesn't get much sun, and that seems, they really seem to like that a lot more. They're stretching out more, although I don't see any fruit on that one, but I do see, I think, one Seminole pumpkin growing on the one that gets direct sun. So, I'll sit back and monitor them and see which one gives me the best results. So I tried growing daikon radishes over the fall, and I tried them in buckets. I tried them in raised beds. I tried them in the mulch beds, but the best ones that I got, there's one that I pulled out of the yard here. The biggest one I've ever grown. It was in our terrible soil. So you never know. You just gotta keep trying, uh, see what works best for you, and it's a lot of experimenting. So once you get it down, you know what works for you, then you have it for a lifetime. Quick tip number 3: get planting and get growing. I used to try and plan everything out. Um, I wanted to make sure I had everything I needed to start my garden. I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. And then when I finally started, I realized I lost precious growing time in the season. So my advice to you is to get your seeds in the ground, in a bucket, in a seed starting tray. I can't tell you uh, how good it feels when you harvest something that, food that you've helped grow, and you're able to share that with yourself and your families. Um, Knowing where your food comes from makes it all the worthwhile. So no matter, you know, how much you plan, you're always going to find out that things happen. You're going to have to adapt. Things change. You'll get bugs. You'll get an epic fail. But you need to grow from the fails and the successes and learn from them and use that. But I just want to stress that the most important thing is for you to get the seed or the transplant in the ground and give it a chance to grow. Um, because if you don't, you'll never start your garden. So I try to get outside as often as I can. Living in Florida my whole life, there's always things to do outside year round. Obviously, one of those things I have a passion for is growing food. When I step back and I consider that a tiny seed, given the right conditions, can produce such diversity and abundance around me, um, I have to consider there's some design and some thought that went into all this. All these things didn't just come from nothing. I really believe they were created for us to enjoy and to be stewards of for generations to come. Um, what an awesome responsibility that is, guys. So when we walk out into our gardens and find disease, underfed areas, or weeds, choking out plants, uh, typically our first response is, what can I do to fix this, right? We put all this work into helping this creation grow, and then it's, all of a sudden we see it's being robbed from its potential. What if we actually looked at people with this attention? Our neighbors, our friends, strangers, or even yet people that hate us. You know, everyone on this earth is going through something. I mean, if you've lived long enough, something has broken you at one point in time in your life. You know, that angry person you ran into the store the other day, you know, that might have been you if you were dealing with the exact same circumstances at the time, you know, that they're dealing with it in their lives. So you never know what someone's going through. Be compassionate towards them and just try to meet them where they're at. There's a hole in everybody's heart. You know, we just all choose to fill it differently. Um, some of us fill it with addiction. Uh, some of us fill it with abuse. Some of us anxiety. We fill it with all of these things that harm us, right? And we become slaves to them. We fill this hole so much. You know, we don't even leave room for something greater that will truly heal us. So when you walk out, you know, into the garden of this thing we call life here in this world, um, where are you meeting people? Are you meeting them where they're at in their lives? Um, when you see disease, when you see the underfed, when you see your friends being choked out by the weeds of sin, uh, do you say, what can I do to fix this? How can I help? Or you just turn away and do nothing? My friends, make some room in your heart for the love that only God can offer. He will heal you and be with you in your darkest hours. I promise you. He will never abandon you. I pray for you. Please pray for me. And let's keep growing together. Hey y'all, if you enjoyed the content we shared on this video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons and comment below. Thank you.